I have an article here from BoundInTheComics.com. Halo star Pablo Schreiber continues to defend series' decision to regularly show Master Chief's face. If you don't agree with the helmet coming off in the show, you don't like our show. In doubling down on arguably the worst creative liberty taken in the series almost entirely comprised of them, Halo star Pablo Schreiber has insultingly affirmed that he has no interest in listening to critics who are unhappy with the series' decision to constantly depict his character Master Chief without his helmet. He is interviewed with SFX magazine and promotion, blah, blah, blah. People who don't feel the helmet was necessary to come off, they're at such an early conception of what the show could be. In order to examine the discrepancy between these two versions of the character, his Spartan and human sides, you can't tell that story without taking the helmet off. I get where he's coming from with that, although I disagree. There are multiple generations of actors and fans, viewers, and stuff who have been conditioned to believe that you have to have these close-ups of people in order to be able to read the emotions and stuff. Like if you go and you watch old TV shows or old movies, a lot of them weren't beholden to these ideas. A lot of these ideas, like they came up and they became basically, unwritten rules that you have to follow. For example, one of them is that generally, you'd want like the good guys on the left side of the screen, the bad guys on the right. That's not, really, taken into account a lot, often, I should say, but enough that you could notice it. It's like the good guys with the white hats, the bad guys with the black hats, that kind of stuff. Like another example is that you never have anything on the foreground that obscures the actor's face as they're talking. You'll see older movies that would do that, but nowadays you very rarely see anything in the way between a person when they're talking. They usually have to show their face in a big close up and all that kind of stuff. And there's plenty of these other unwritten rules and stuff. The mask is just one of them, or helmet, I guess I should say, in this case. Kind of like when Sylvester Stallone did his Judge Dredd, which that to me wasn't really Judge Dredd. It was an okay movie. I mean, it was it had its moments. I much prefer the Carl Urban version of Judge Dredd. I thought that was a much superior movie. I mean, I like Sylvester Stallone and all that, but I thought Dredd was just much better, and he didn't really show his face. I mean, technically, you get to see parts of the lower jaw or whatever. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. But so I understand where Pablo's coming from. Like I get it. The idea, we see it with Pedro Pascal with the Mandalorian. I'm sure it's not just him, but like there's people inside Disney who, show his face, show his face. Although it's kind of like, why would you pay all this money to this guy if you just want to show his face all the time? Because like the Mandalorian is not supposed to be showing his face. Halo, Master Chief, and stuff. I mean, it's like we don't have to see his face. There's lots of video games. I'm not sure exactly how many. Several, we'll say, that tell the story of Master Chief and everything to varying degrees of quality and stuff. Because I don't want to get into that. That's neither here nor there, I suppose. But it's just the kind of thing like where I don't think you have to show the person's face in order to truly understand where they're coming from. I think there is a nuance to playing a character that way. And it's a learned technique. And I can understand people maybe not wanting to do that, maybe not wanting to put the effort in or not thinking it's going to work or whatever, but at least try it. Like I would rather try to like in Halo's case, not show Master Chief's face as much as possible, and then have it basically underperform, than just toss aside the entirety, the crux of Halo, because like they don't show his face. It's like Master Chief isn't a known character, or John Spartan or what. We're starting to get into the weeds with some of this stuff, but he's a known character, but it's like his power suit, his armor suit, or whatever you want to call it. That's what's known. This idea that you have to show his face in order to relate to him or whatever, I don't agree with that. I think the voice can do a lot. I think the mannerisms can do a lot. The way you tilt your head a certain way, the way you do this, just the way you might turn your head certain ways, that kind of thing. I think that's a much better way to go. I'll link this in the description box. You can read it for yourself, because I mean it goes on a little bit further because he's got plenty to say. A whole heck of a lot to say. February 8th is when the new season comes out. I'm not very interested myself for a variety of reasons. Uh, One of them is the whole idea that they do show his face a lot, but it's not because of that necessarily. It's just because that's just one of many things that they do that goes against the video games, goes against the lore, and it's kind of like, okay, if you're doing this, what other stuff are you gonna do that goes against the lore and everything? Like I said, not a huge fan of the series. I thought it was, season one, it was okay, I guess. I'm kind of an easy grader on a lot of this stuff because I was never the biggest Halo fan. I've played pretty much every one of them. I enjoyed them all, but I wouldn't call myself like a hardcore fan. You know, I don't know, like, because I don't, but that's mainly because I don't really call myself a hardcore fan of a lot of things. Because to me, a hardcore fan is someone that can be like immediately answering all these trivia questions, and that's not really me. But even though, like I said, I enjoyed them all and stuff. I mean, but I guess that's neither here nor there. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Like I said, I'll link this in the description box and read it for yourself. I get where he's coming from, but I disagree. That's just me. I mean, each their own. But thank